So I was watching this article, watching this article, this video by one of the royal experts, and I'm trying to decipher what he says here. The Meghan won't come to UK, and Harry and trip to Nigeria is big problem for William, says expert. Like I'm shaking. I'm like, oh my god, why is Harry's trip a problem for the expert? Let's listen to this and see if we can analyze this with our very elucidating commentary. Is that a word? Elucidate. Illuminating testimony, whatever.
Resolved. I think that
Not
it
testimony.
is resolved, and illness is
Commentary.
a big game changer. We know that the king and also Catherine, I mean, just cancer is very serious, as
Oh,
millions
wait a minute,
know.
wait a minute. He just said something really interesting. He just said, if I'm not mistaken, he said that illness is a big game changer. And he also said that we know that the king has cancer and Catherine had cancer, but she's now getting preventative chemotherapy. And so I thought to myself, that's an interesting statement, isn't it? Because when you consider the fact that um, King Charles is in his 70s, almost 80. He actively has cancer, not had cancer, but he seems to have cancer and he's getting chemo or other cancer treatments. And yet he's been making all these public appearances. He's been continuing with his royal duties. He's been really making a push to, I guess, earn his keep, so to speak, right? And then you have Catherine, who is half his age. She doesn't have cancer. She did have cancer, according to her highly debunked cancer video. She had cancer had been present, she said, and then she is getting preventative chemo. So it seems like it's less serious than King Charles, who actually does have cancer at the moment, it seems. Both of them are outpatient, so it's not like they are bedridden in a hospital or in a cancer clinic like some patients with very serious cancer diagnoses. They're getting treated outpatient, so that's also important to note. But he said here cancer is a game changer, and we know the only person with cancer right now is King Charles. He has active cancer, yet he's really the only one, along with his wife Camilla, who is making royal appearances and doing royal duties, while William made an appearance the other day where he was cutting up the celery with no follow-up, so we don't even know who actually ate the celery and how that impacted his or her life after having the celery. So it's kind of like, what does this royal appearance actually mean? It just doesn't mean anything. But that said, William is doing very, very light royal duties because prior to that he wasn't seen for months, or at least 6 weeks or something like that. Um, Now the reason being, I guess, that his wife is getting preventative chemotherapy, but his wife again is outpatient. She's not critically ill. She doesn't have cancer. She said she had cancer. Cancer had been present. That's past tense. She's getting preventative chemotherapy. She's 41 or 42 years old, right? So the fact that King Charles, who does actually have cancer and who's twice Catherine's age almost, he's out doing duties along with his septuagenarian wife, Camilla, who's also in her 70s. In fact, she's older than King Charles by a year or two. It's very interesting because this guy just said that, cancer illness is a game changer. And you would have thought that the king's cancer would have changed the game in such a way that his next in line, his heir, his liege man, William, would have stepped up a lot more to take care of these royal duties and to keep the appearance that everything is normal in the monarchy. Now, I understand you're saying that, well, his wife is sick, but again, she's not that sick. She's at home. she's not at home in bed, it seems. She said that in her video, she said she's doing much better. I mean, prior, we heard she was making all these new hires. She hired all this new staff. She's working on a big project. This was in the New York Post and several other papers. So she's not sick. I'm sorry, but she's not sick. She was sitting up all on her own on that bench, speaking on her own, right? So the idea that, his wife is sick, so therefore he can't step up at a time when, like this expert said, um, illness is a game changer, right? Cancer is a serious diagnosis. The king is 75 years old. He has cancer. And yet, at the very moment when you would expect the next in line to the throne to be more visible and to step up and do more royal duties, he steps back and he does considerably less because his wife, who is not bedridden, who is on an outpatient preventative cancer treatment, is getting preventative cancer treatment. It doesn't make sense, or even that the children, he has to take care of his family. His children are in school all day. His children also have a nanny, or nannies plural. They have butlers, they have housekeepers, the wife has parents who apparently are helping around the clock with everything. So the idea that William could not step up is very interesting, especially given what this guy just said. I don't know his name, but he acknowledged that cancer is a game changer, and yet he doesn't seem to understand or to address the fact that William is MIA at a time when the game has just changed with the cancer diagnosis of King Charles. He seems focused on whether Meghan will come to the UK or not. I don't know what difference that would make, whether Meghan comes to the UK or not. It seems a lot of them are saying that she shouldn't come, that don't come, she's not welcomed. So why is this guy, fixated on that though? What about the fact that King Charles has cancer? It's a game changer. It's serious. And it seems he's the only one who's really doing any royal duties at the moment. You know what I mean? What do you think about that?